Hello and welcome to,
Hey, we like your pod.
and we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I am joined as always by my trusted partner, Matt Piggott. It's so good to see you, Matt.
You
And
too, Dawn.
Chat. Hi, Chat. Hi, Matt.
Welcome, chat. Dawn, I was thinking about it, right? If I only had ice cream like once a week, I would really look forward to it. It'd be great. But if I only had it every other week, I'd be like, man, it's ice cream time. This is great. And that's what it feels like seeing you every other week. Just like, oh boy, it's time to the podcast. This is awesome. So just really happy to see you today.
I love that. So happy to see you too. And I actually had ice cream today too,
Oh,
which I don't
excellent.
have very often. Hi, Jude, and hi, Michael. Nice to see you. I put a question in the chat while, and Joe is here. Hi, Joe. Hello.
Hey, Joe.
So I put a question, are you enjoying free agency and what's the best thing so far? So after you tell us all how your week has been or how your last 2 weeks have been, it's like it is very different because now there's always something big that has happened between the 2 weeks.
That's
right?
true.
So now I was thinking about it. It's like this last 2 weeks we've seen daylight savings or whatever this is that we have now, where it's not dark at whatever 5 o'clock. So are you enjoying that big change?
Yeah, definitely nice to have more sunlight at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Like to go for like a trip to the park or like on a little scoot around the neighborhood with my kid when I get home. So that's actually possible again, which is
Yeah.
really nice. And of course, with the warm weather coming in, kind of in fits and starts, of course, that's been nice as well.
Mhm.
But last couple of weeks, obviously lots to keep track of with free agency, which has been, it's fun to see it all happen, even if like the Packers weren't super involved, super exciting with the moves they make. I feel like they're all good moves. I feel like all three were like good signings,
Mhm.
but good, yes, great. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. But I'll
Right.
have a good amount of upside, But
Mhm.
apart from that, I would say mostly things have been great here. My kids were sick over the weekend, but they're better now. And there's just a lot of sickness going around, of course. But I'm
Yeah.
good. Real good. Real good. Don, what's new with you then?
Sorry to hear they were sick. I'm hanging in there. Lots going on in my life as always. Let's see. Today I've had this week some appointments to kind of just take care of myself. Like I had chiropractor and an hour-long massage on Monday. And then today I had to go back downtown for a dental appointment, like just a normal thing. And so I went back to the chiropractor and I got traction to really,
Okay.
yeah, and it felt good. And now I'm sore, and I'm kind of sore from the side, but I'm working on my just getting back together because I had a big surgery and your back hurts and everything hurts. And then I stopped at one of a really good fish market that we have in town. We have one right here too, but I'm slowly but surely able to eat like solid foods. It's going to take a couple more months to eat. But it's got to be so I'm like, So I got Norwegian salmon, just a small piece. I couldn't have like a big chunk because
Sure.
I can't do it, with hollandaise sauce. And they make this homemade hollandaise sauce that has a kick to it.
Ooh, nice.
And it's got a lot of it just was delicious. So it took me about 2 hours to eat less than a half pound of salmon all by itself, but I did it. And then I ended up pouring extra butter on it because it was like I had to make it go down. But it was so delicious. It was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
So I kind of spoiled
Oof.
myself with that today. Yeah.
Nice.
I know, after living on protein drinks for 4 months, it's kind of nice to eat some solids. And then I had ice cream. And Jude says, I just ordered from Stone Crab Claws from Florida. There you go.
Yum.
there you go. They had so many things to choose from at this place, but I might go back with my friend next week, wanting to just get out. I've been eating a lot of tofu and Thai food and stuff like that because
Mhm.
that goes down pretty good. So
I'm
I'm
sure.
enjoying food though, like I'm chewing on things
Yeah.
again, and so that's my
That's good. I like that, like, you're going through some stuff here, obviously. Like that's sort of the subtext here, health wise. But the fact that you're finding these things that are like the fun, the delicious, the things you can really enjoy, like, darn, I love that.
uh-huh. Yeah,
You're-
yeah. I was just talking to a friend about that. It's like just enjoy what you can. Don't I've never focused on it's like, yeah, okay, I have a health thing, but I'm doing this. But and I walked to all the places and it's sunny and I'm on the ocean. Jude asked where you guys I'm in California, Jude, and Matt is in Cincinnati. So we're in two different places. So I wanted to go to I was really trying to splurge today
Mhm.
with getting the salmon and and I wanted to go to what's it called that mm, Cold Stone Creamery
Mhm.
ice cream,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
chain, but we also have Handles. Do you have Handles ice cream?
No.
Okay. I am always sorry, Handles, but I'm always disappointed in Handles. I went to Cold Stone and they were closed. They're like, "Oh, we'll be right back." The note was on the door.
Mhm.
This is a California thing. Like, this is typical. They're out surfing or whatever. And and it was like, "We'll be back at 1." And it was like 2 o'clock. So I figured
Mm.
somebody just decided not to come back. So I got the Handles and I got key lime pie ice cream. And it
Sounds
was kind
amazing.
it sounds amazing, but it's kind of
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
We
Anywho,
know
where
Cincinnati is the home of Grater's ice cream, which was declared by no less than Oprah Winfrey as being the best ice cream in the United States. So,
oh.
that is people all know about the Skyline chili, that Greek style chili that we have here, the Cincinnati chili. But people don't always know that we also have the best ice cream. And in fact, Don, if I could for a second, my favorite flavor, I'm going to ask you your favorite flavor because I was curious about this. My favorite flavor is salted caramel chocolate chip. And Don,
Mm.
you know how we can't actually perceive as much of like the smell spectrum as dogs can, like their ability to take in smells and understand and see things like on different like levels and like dimensions with smell than we can. It's really astounding, right? I am of the belief that we as human beings have not enough of an ability to understand taste to fully comprehend just how good this ice cream is. It goes beyond what we can even like process in our brains. It is so good. It makes me so happy. Don, what is
Mm.
your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Send some over. Well, I have a go-to. It's chocolate chip mint.
Mhm.
But today, Handles, they did have like a salted caramel chocolate chip thing. And I was like, maybe I should have that. I should have probably had that because the key lime pie wasn't tart. Like you want your key lime pie to be. I
Yeah.
said, is that
Yeah.
sherbet? Is it tart? And she's like, kind of. I'm like, oh, it wasn't at all. It was kind of sweet. But oh, and cherry ice cream for Iowa
Cherry ice cream
Joe.
gel. Hmm.
Yeah, so hey Jude. Yeah, we've been doing Judy and I have been doing trivia. We did one a couple of weeks ago. We kind of cut it back to like once a month. So Jude's here from
Nice.
yeah,
Glad you're
but
here,
we'll be
Jude.
back. And hey, Mona and I were live Monday of this week and the previous Saturday, I think, about a trial that I'm totally engrossed in right now, California versus Monica Sementilli. It's a
Hmm.
trial, not chocolate cherry or cherry and nuts, just plain cherry. Okay.
Yeah, wait, so
Okay.
Joe, question for you, Joe. So is that like maraschino cherries or is it like cherries, like Door County cherries, for example? We'll
Door
await
County
reply
cherry
in the
ice
text.
cream. That sounds good. Yeah. So I like cherry pie. I'm not
Mhm.
really a I mean, I guess I like pie. Oh, I don't eat a lot of desserts anyway, or ice cream or
Mhm.
anything. Like it's a
Mhm.
real treat. But I've been craving key lime pie. So when I saw that, but now I want to go get a real piece of key lime pie just to kind of like
Yes.
balance out the taste. Like that's
Mm,
what I want.
I love that.
So Yeah, so hey, Mona's still around. We've been watching the trial. There's a bunch of legal stuff going on. I've been having so much fun with the free agency um, this year. I'll talk a little bit in my superlatives about that.
Mhm.
So I'm enjoying it. I'm feeling the football bugs start to come back a little bit. You know how it
Yes.
goes away
Yes.
after the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
I'm getting interested in maybe doing some draft research in the next couple of weeks.
Some of the names are starting to actually stick to my brain as I hear people
Mhm,
talk about them over and over again. A couple names
mhm,
I'm getting excited about here and there.
mhm.
Could I say them off the top of my head? No, but
No,
they're there when I hear them. It's just the first layer of comprehension is for me. So yeah,
yeah,
getting actually excited about football. Just starting. Yeah, right there
and
with you.
yeah, and the preseason is going to be here, and it's going to go so fast. Are you watching Cementilly, Jude? Because I've had a couple live streams and some really funny shorts you want to check out. The Cementilly case for the football friends, just so you know, it's California versus Monica Cementilly. Her husband, Fabio Cementilli, was a celebrity stylist for celebrities in LA. So it was a big kind of sensationalized trial, well, murder, and then now the trial. And they're blaming it on his wife, not ex-wife, but his wife at the
Hmm.
time, and her boyfriend. It's pretty awful, and the characters are just wild. It's kind of annoying because it's going on forever. The judge just seems to think that the jurors want to spend 2 months in court because this is going to be a 2-month trial. It's over a month already. Yeah, and you just can't even imagine. And then my friend Mona has gone. I wanted to go up, but
Hmm.
my health, I just can't, and I can't afford to be around germs right now.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm already immunocompromised, but even more so now. So everyone's getting sick in that courtroom.
Oh
Dropping
no.
like,
Oof.
yeah, Jude, she is totally going down. She's going down. And Matt says your G looks like the Georgetown symbol. Oh, that's interesting. It's
Oh, dude, we're Green Bay Packers fans. G is for Green Bay.
Green Bay, and it looks very much like Georgia as well. Georgetown. I'll have to check
Georgia
that
looks
out.
like Green Bay, I think, is what it is
Right, right.
actually.
They
But
gave them permission. Green Bay gave Georgia permission. Yes, which I find interesting. Yeah, the case. Oh, it's a wild case. I did do on the previous Saturday a rundown, so that might help you if you're interested, Joe, to look at the previous live stream from last Saturday, a week before Monday. So, because it's fairly complicated case. I mean, it's not that complicated. Wife cheats on husband, talks boyfriend into killing husband so that she can inherit all of his wealth.
mhm,
They
mhm.
get caught.
Tale as old as time, right there.
It is, sadly.
Yeah.
It's sadly. Oh, and Joe says, I'm trying to catch up on some of the true crime documentaries I've missed, watching OJ one and the John Bonet one on Netflix. Ooh. Also, Peacock Nicholas Rossi documentary. And Jude says, I know nothing about football or sports. Just wanted to see you. Hi. It's so good to see you. And Matt. Okay. All right. So, Maddie,
Mhm.
so did I ask you how was your week, or have we gotten that
Oh,
far?
totally covered that. Totally covered
Okay.
that.
I
We're
can't
good.
even remember.
Yeah,
I can't
let's
remember.
moving on.
All righty. Well, then we know what it's time
What
for.
what time?
It's time for this week's superlatives.
Did you like edit that a little bit? Did you add to it? Was that football always in there? Did I just forget there was a football in the middle of that?
No editing has been done. That's the
Oh, it's
original.
always been there. Man, okay, I love it still. I love it
Good.
still. What do you got, Don? What's your first superlative?
Okay, let's see. What do I have? My first superlative is best bullying.
Okay.
Okay, this goes to I think it was, double check. Who wrote this? I'm so sorry. I have the article here and I don't have the author.
Oh no.
I thought it was. Okay, I thought it was. I didn't want to say it and be wrong. It goes to our
Mhm.
Wendell Ferrer.
Ah, love Wendell, friend
Yeah,
of the show.
love this article. Okay. article is Packers sign Super Bowl champion from the Chiefs to add speed to their wide receiver room. And the move will leave the Bears furious. That was the part I liked.
Okay. All right.
And so this is about Nicole Hardman being signed to the Packers this recent week, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, there's concerns because he seems to be injury prone, and all of our wide receivers seem to be injury prone. But anyway, but he seems like a great addition. But I loved that the Bears were really high on him.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, and so that's what this article is about. So you have to read the article by Wendell. It's A to Z Sports, and it's called exactly what I just said.
Yeah, give Wendell the clicks, you guys. He's awesome, and he does such good work.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I mean, I was kind of looking up things about Nicole, and he shared that on what's the name of our social media?
Blue
Sky.
Yeah.
I almost said Blue Wire. I don't know, my brain. And I didn't realize that the Bears coach, who was the head coach for the Bears, is now was the Lions offensive coordinator. So head coach for the offense. Okay, so that was my first one. What do you have, Natty?
Nice. My first one is best observation. I'm going to actually read this verbatim because I think it deserves to be said exactly how Robert Mays said it on the what the teams in the NFC like North, how did they really do in free agency. So kind of a rundown of most of the NFC North, or not NFC North, but NFC teams, that is. And he, right in the middle of it, he dropped this gem about our old friend Aaron Rodgers, and it's worth talking about. Okay, so a little background. Have you seen the show What We Do in the Shadows?
No.
It's okay if you haven't. I'll explain. It's a show where like vampires, there's like four vampires that live together. But one of them is an energy vampire, which means not that he like sucks blood, but that he takes people's energy by like basically talking them to death. So they get very annoyed and bored with what he's saying. He's like feeding on their energy as he does this. So this is the concept, an energy vampire. Okay. Right. It's a very funny conceit on the show. The guy who is the energy vampire plays it amazingly. So anyhow, I'm reading the words of Robert Mays. He said, oh man, I'm getting so old now. I have to take my glasses off to read this. I need bifocals. Oh. So here we go. All right. My thought here is just like, and I was thinking about this the other day, and this is going to be very forced, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just wouldn't invite a vampire into my house. Like, I just wouldn't do it. Like, if he was standing at the door frame, I wouldn't be like, yeah, come on in. And I think of this, I kind of think, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is a regular vampire, but I don't know if people watch What We Do in the Shadows, but Colin Robinson, the energy vampire, there's a chance that Rodgers is just an energy vampire. Like when he's sitting there and going through all the crazy things that he seems to believe, all he's doing is just sucking out the energy from everyone around him. Like when he's going on and on about chemtrails, he's just wanting you to slowly become more and more tired and frustrating. Like there's a chance that explains a lot of what has gone on with him over the last couple of years, but it's neither here nor there. Just like right in the middle of everything, he drops this amazing observation. Aaron Rodgers as an energy vampire. I was like, oh,
that's beautiful.
Robert Mays. There it is, man. I think that's it. I think he is. I think he's exactly right.
Well, and I think that's what so many shows that I've heard, just not even about that subject, but dropping that topic in because it's everyone's annoyed with him for that reason. Just like, get on with it. You're sucking the life out of this entire league right now. Yes.
Retire already, man. Come on. I so wanted him to go to the Vikings though, because it would just been so funny. But it looks like that's probably not going to happen now. We'll see. I mean, it could.
Well, the door isn't closed, but who knows?
Exactly.
All right. Well, in that vein, most fun writing. It's goes to Lombardi Avenue. It is by Cameron Ellis, excuse me. And it's entitled, and this came to me from Bonnie, the reason I'm a Packers fan, or the football fan. Yeah. I'm a Packers fan because I'm from Wisconsin. So, but yeah, Bonnie sent it to me and it was just, it is Aaron Rodgers' Vikings dream ends in embarrassing fashion and Packers fans will love it. just going to bring out a couple. I don't want to read his whole article, although I could, because it's a short 350 word. But it's a new day in the NFL when there's Aaron Rodgers drama. But to us as Packers fan, it's fun, maybe slightly enjoyable. He mentioned that because as fans, we've lived the backstory. He says, no one knows the singular sensation, some call it rage, of dealing with Aaron Rodgers' decisions, quite like you do as a Packers fan. And so he says, no one deserves to read the next 350 words quite like you do. So sit back, pour yourself a glass of literally anything and enjoy. A couple other highlights. For the first time in Rodgers' NFL career, something happened. Someone told him no.
Yeah, right.
I think it's more than one team that has told him no. But he mentions, according to NFL's Network's Tom Pelissero, Minnesota thought it'd be best if they just stayed as friends. Aaron Rodgers just got flat out rejected by the Vikings, and it's hilarious. Objectively hilarious, he says, and simply delicious. So those are just some of the highlights. Please read it. Sorry, I've got cat hair in my mouth. Listen, of course, they just said for now. They didn't say we're breaking up forever. They did leave a little, and of course, a lot of people were coming back today and saying, just so we got to clean this up. No, I heard that. I heard that you don't have to clean it up. Somebody's having a temper tantrum, probably.
Yeah.
Threatening to sue or whatever. So it was really fun yesterday for people just to finally say, okay, this is enough. And then for the Vikings to come out with that news from Tom. Pretty fun not to have him on your team.
Oh man, seriously. So you said who's there? Cameron Ellis? Is that what you said?
Cameron Ellis from Lombardi Avenue.
I am not familiar with their work. I'm going to check out more of this stuff because that sounds fantastic. First of all, I'll check out that one that you're talking about, Don. But then I'm going to see what else they've written. That sounds.
Yes.
I should have them on my radar, I think. So.
Yeah,
thanks.
Bonnie always sends me articles from LombardiAv.com, not Avenue. So yeah, I thought that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. What else do you have, Maddie?
All right. Well, my second superlative this week, Don, I've got best conversation. Joe, if you're still here, man, this is about you, actually. So
yes.
This week on Ohana Packers Edition, OPE, a wonderful podcast you should all be listening to. Joe and his co-host Mike had our friend Dusty on, and they were talking about the tight ends in the draft. And so Dusty took some time to do a little bit of draft research. He doesn't usually do much at all, and he took some time to dig into that, look at some film, and they had a really fun discussion about the potential tight ends, what we could do with them if they took one in the first round, especially. I honestly think, I'm not just saying this, Joe, because you're always here. I'm not saying this because you're a good friend. I'm saying this because people need to hear this. Joe and Mike are two of the smarter guys out there talking about football, and I feel like just people aren't listening like they should be. They should be getting more attention. They should get more love. So yes. The two of them with Dusty, I mean, come on, come on. And they're going to have Sarah Kelleher on in the next week or so, I think. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But it was one of the best podcasts I listened to the last 2 weeks. It was fantastic. So you guys should all definitely check that out.
Definitely. Stuff, and really good stuff, Joe. And what I love is that Dusty, because I did listen to this podcast.
Nice.
And excuse me. And Dusty is known for not really being a draft guy, right? And so for him to come on to this show to do this annually with Joe, it really says a lot, and it adds a lot of cred to what Joe does. It's also because we know Dusty knows his film, and of course they were talking about tight ends, and that's my favorite position. So it was just great, and these guys are all fun and just great people too. So it's enjoyable to listen to, not just for the football content, but for the people content. I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stay with my theme. I have an audio clip.
Oh.
And so the superlative is most free agency drama. Here we go. Sorry, that wasn't it. Where'd it go? There is a problem with my
It's not that
clip.
one either. There's a clip that
So
unfortunately
odd.
doesn't seem to be working. That's a bummer.
Well, I'll find it here. I'll grab
Okay.
it. It's just going to not be maybe as clear. So I'll play it through my mic. Tell me if you can hear this.
Okay.
I'm tired of talking about the quarterback situation. I'd rather have it done. I don't know what ends up happening. I don't know, man. Like, this is like I'm ready to move on in the free agency. I ain't doing that darkness retreat. I don't need any of that crap. Like, either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't. That's simple. That's the pitch. Like, if you want me to recruit, that's the recruiting pitch. You know, Pittsburgh Steelers, if you want to be part of it, so be it. If you don't, no skin on my back.
And that was from Cam Hayward, who has his own podcast.
Oh, that's what it was? Nice.
Channel. Yeah, I was going to ask you to guess, but I didn't know if you could. But yeah, that was making its rounds also yesterday. Like, dude, make your mind up. We're tired. Like, everyone is tired of waiting around for the drama queen to whatever.
I swear. True North says, is this a clip of me 2 years ago? Seriously. Yeah. All of us 2 years ago, right? My goodness. Yeah. That was awesome. I love Cam Hayward. Every time he's been on, I think, Mina Kimes show a few times and maybe some other, the national folks. He's always really fun to listen to. And that's another good example. That was amazing.
Yeah. And his YouTube channel is not just football with Cam Hayward. And I think he did have Mina on this one too. That was just a clip, and you heard the laughing. Some of it was my laughing, but I don't know what happened to the audio that I saved there. But in any case, it was my laughing as well as the person that he was talking with on the show at the moment. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was interesting because it's not just us, and it kind of makes you feel validated. Like, it's not everyone's kind of like just tired of it. I'm kind of tired of people talking about it. It's like, stop talking about it, and he'll, you know what I mean? He's getting what he wants by having you.
Yeah, because he's an energy vampire.
I mean, if you want to retire, like, what is the I don't know. I guess Favre went back and forth about retiring too.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, I guess it's hard to decide if you want to retire, but I don't know, man. It's because he's supposedly also considering retiring in addition to considering.
Yeah, that's on the table. Yeah.
Playing for various teams. So, but there are several teams that have told him no, I'm sure. I don't think it's just like that. There's only a couple that have said publicly that they're interested in.
I think it's maybe down to the Giants and the Steelers, I think is what it is at this point. And maybe the Vikings, probably not, but
they're hanging in.
I don't know if there's anybody else who even is a possibility at this point. I mean, it could be just everybody ends up saying no and he just has to retire. I mean, I don't know.
That would be great. Well, there's always the chance too, and I hate even talking about this, but that there's a injury to a quarterback on any team, and then he gets pulled in for that reason. Which
that is true.
Which you wish.
That's all kinds of, you don't want to see that happen.
No, you don't. Mm-mm. Anyway, so what else do you have, Maddie?
Yeah, for my third and final superlative, I've got most fun engagement. So this is a cool thing that the website Acme Packing Company, one of my favorite, Packers websites, is doing. They're doing a sort of like a reader cooperative, collaborative mock draft where on Monday, I think they'll be doing this next couple of weeks. On Monday, they have people like kind of say of the folks who, and Justice wrote them this week. He's probably gonna do the rest of the weeks, I would guess. But so Justice Mosqueda wrote like, here we're gonna do a simulation of the first, we're pick 23, I think, right? So the first 22 picks, here's who's available at 23. Who would you want to, take? Who would you want the Packers to draft? And then people in the comments of the article can put who they want. And so then on like the next day on Tuesday, he'll say, here's who we took in the first round based on people's votes. Yeah. Now we're in a simulation for like the next, 32 picks or whatever it is until our pick. So now here's who's on the board at this point. of these people, who do you want to take? And so then 3 days of that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, first round, second round, third round. So this week that we're living in right now was the first week of it. They'll do a number of weeks, I'm sure.
Okay.
But it's really fun. It's really fun to watch it like kind of evolve over the week
Yeah.
and see how people are kind of talking about it in the comments and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
a really fun way to get the readers engaged, and just to hear people's different takes, you know, as they're writing about them and their justification why they're saying we should draft that person at this spot. It's a cool idea. I like it a lot.
Yeah, a good way to get your feet wet if you're just sort of like wading into the draft season and you're interested in mock drafts and having fun with that like we do. Oh, I like that. Justice also was on Pack-A-Day for an emergency podcast with Ross Uglin going over signing of Nicole Hardman too the other day. So those guys are really great. It was cute because Ross's little boy was on with him because he was probably in charge of the kid. It was pretty fun. So, that's really nice. I'm going to check that out. I think I'm ready to put my toes in.
Yeah. Well, it's another like you start to get some more names, couple toes, 3 toes. You start to get more of those names kind of starting to like, you know, remember themselves to you. So yeah, I like that stuff.
Well, my final bonus, because this is number 4 for me, superlative, is in the draft vein. Best quarterback name ever, Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart.
Is there a better quarterback name than somebody named Dart?
Wow. You need somebody whose last name is like Thrower or like, you know.
I love his
Passer.
name.
Jonathan Passer. That's a great name.
Jackson Dart. And I mean, there are some I've been noticing the last year some really great football names and some that just, it's like that person. Those parents knew that person was going to be a football player. I'll have to start a list, I think, when I run across them. But Jackson Dart gets it for the draft and for the best quarterback names. So that's my final superlative, Maddie.
Nice. I always like the name Chase Young for a football player. They're chasing people around. They're young. It's perfect.
Yes.
That's what I always like. So there's some good ones out there for sure. Love that.
Hi, Lorenzo. And Michael is back. Do you think the Packers will draft a tight end this year?
Yeah, he's asking because they talked about that on the Oak podcast right there. Yep. Oh, well, right. So Joe actually replied to that in the chat. If you want to, here I get it. So Joe said then Michael Redden. I think it's a strong possibility. Musgraves is still a question mark, and Sims isn't much more than a blocker who will get an occasional catch. So yeah, could they pick up somebody? It seems like it could happen. Learn more about it on their podcast, guys. Take a listen to that.
Are you thinking in the first round or like maybe the second or third round?
I think they'll probably pick one up, but not the first round. I would be very surprised. It'd be fun because they get somebody who is like one of the better ones for sure. But wait and see what happens.
And Michael Redden answered the question earlier. Are you enjoying free agency? What's the best thing so far? And Michael says, reading the social media overreactions is the best part, right?
Yes.
It's been really fun.
It's
been really fun. And it's been fun, like on let me see if I can find one that I did. It was a different team. Here it is. This is pretty funny. Okay. This was from Blue Sky from Danny Heifetz. This is the same deal. 3 for $36 million. The Giants would not pay Saquon Barkley last year. Now they're giving that same deal to Darius Slayton, who they've been trying to get rid of for 5 years. The Giants are the absolute worst, and I hate rooting for them. So I just love free agency because everyone's like in their own personal nightmare situation with their team, wanting them to do, not all. Some teams are perfect,
Well, that's a really good point because it's like the teams that seem to do really well in free agency often just in the regular season. I mean, the Bears win free agency every year. They win the offseason every year. And yet somehow,
Yeah.
I swear.
Well, I love that we beat them out of Nicole Hardman. That was just beautiful.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
All right, Maddie, any final thoughts, any final questions or thoughts from the chat or the mat before we sign off?
I don't have any more final thoughts, I guess. No, I mean, I remember last time we talked about how this is a time of year where you're kind of building your own cake. And, I've been thinking about that the last 2 weeks, how it's like
Right.
everybody just keep on, appreciating the content and the stuff that's happening in the way that you want to. There's no need to have to do like anybody else. And that's what I've been taking to heart, the last 2 weeks with all the podcasts and articles and videos and everything else. And, just trying to get into it. So yeah, just to reiterate that from 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Football is like making a cake. So, and not just baking it, but all the preparation. First, you have to decide what kind of cake you're going to bake. And then you have to get all those ingredients. Well, deciding what kind of cake you're going to bake really isn't just like, okay, I'm just going to make a cherry cake. I've got cherries on the brain right now. And because of the chat, but it's like, this is why it's going to be cherry pistachio with buttercream frosting, and then you build the story around it. And that's where we're at right now with free agency and the draft. The teams are still just deciding what cake they're going to make and what will be the best ingredients, because you have choices. You have choices. What type of pistachio? Do you want a little salt? I mean, all of these decisions, and some people have their favorite pistachio brand or they want fresh pistachio. So yes, we have all these decisions that are being made right now for the cake. I like that you brought that up because I totally forgot about it. Yes, I thought about it during the 2 weeks at some point, but then I forgot. So yeah.
Right on. Well, shall I bring her home?
Okay, one final thought from the chat. This is good. Iowa Joe, there is an edge rusher in this year's draft named Stone Handy. That's
nice.
beautiful.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's good.
He's got stone hands. I love it. Okay, with that, thank you, chat, for being here. We love seeing you. And Maddie, let's bring her home.
All right, well, friends, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. The best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.